We've seen it in Austria 2019, we've seen it in Bahrain 2022, we've seen it in Saudi Arabia 2022, and we'll surely see it in the future as well. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Naren Harwani, and today I'm going to review the 2022 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We've witnessed a really super exciting Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on the racetrack, yes. Off the racetrack, it was dramatic and eventful, and not the ideal race weekend we wanted. But yes, on the racetrack, the two drivers who stole the show again were Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. There's something really special about these two drivers battling it out against each other for the lead of the race. Really neck and neck against each other. We're really on our toes during the entire battle. We've seen it in Austria 2019, we've seen it in Bahrain 2022, we've seen it in Saudi Arabia 2022, and we'll surely see it in the future as well. And this time around, Max Verstappen won the race, battling it out towards the end of the race. But before we get to the battle between Max and Charles, I'd like to run through qualifying first. Qualifying session 1, Lewis Hamilton gets out qualified in Q1. The first time he's got out qualified in Q1 since Brazil 2017. Both Haas was in Q2, both Alpines were in Q3, both McLarens were out in Q2. Kevin Magnussen was in Q3 and Valtteri Bottas was in Q3 as well. So he maintains his streaks for most consecutive appearances in Q3, that's 104. And coming to pole position. The favorites for pole position were Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz. Everyone's eyes was on all three drivers for pole position during Q3. And out of nowhere, Sergio Perez puts a bang of a lap and gains pole position. His first in 215 races, 11 years after his debut in F1. So a really super exciting race. Qualifying for Sergio Perez. Coming to the race, Sergio Perez did not have a really good race. He had a really good start to the race, yes. He was in the lead of the race. And Ferrari, oh my god, Ferrari pulled out a really good strategy. They pulled out a dummy on Red Bull, Sergio Perez. There on the radio, they were like, okay, pit inside to overtake, pit to overtake, pit to overtake. And Red Bull bought that, and Red Bull instead pitted Sergio Perez, who was in the lead. Charles Leclerc was in P2. So Charles Leclerc did not pit instead, and Sergio Perez pitted for a new set of hard tires. Nicholas Latifi crashed a couple of laps after Sergio Perez came out of the pitch, which brought out a virtual safety car, which was advantage for a couple of drivers. Yes, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, all three pitted for a new set of hard tires, and Sergio Perez lost the lead of the race because of the virtual safety car.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Charles Leclerc got the lead, Max Verstappen in P2, Carlos Sainz in P3 and Sergio Perez in P4. Again, there was a battle between, not a battle, but yeah, there was some confusion between P3, who would gain P3 after the safety car restart. Mainly because the safety car line was, Carlos Sainz was ahead of Sergio Perez when the safety car was called out. So basically, he was to get P3 and Sergio Perez gave the position back to him after the safety car restart. So really interesting race for Sergio Perez. Really good qualifying for him, but not an ideal race day for him. Yeah, this is how F1 is. There are more bad days in F1 than good days. But yeah, overall a good race weekend for Sergio Perez for sure. Coming to the battle between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, they're really close towards the end of the race. Max Verstappen was really gaining on Charles Leclerc, and towards the last turn of the race, Charles Leclerc let Max Verstappen by, ensuring that he got a DRS advantage on the next straight and overtook Max Verstappen for the lead of the race. He did that once again here in Saudi Arabia. He'd earlier done that same strategy in Bahrain as well. And again, towards the end of the lap, the last turn, Max was again gaining an advantage on Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc again tried that, but this time around it got really tricky and Max Verstappen kind of realized, okay, this is what is going to happen. And both of them were waiting for each other to pass by and locked up wheels, and Charles Leclerc kind of was took an advantage, and he was like, okay, he'll go in the lead of the race, and he maintained the lead. But again, the third time when this happened, Max Verstappen kind of ensured that he didn't pass Charles Leclerc, and he ensured that he got a DRS advantage on the straights and overtook him for the lead of the race. Charles Leclerc tried to overtake Max Verstappen towards the end of the race, but couldn't overtake him. But he really enjoyed the race. After the team radio, after the race, he mentioned on the team radio that this is how racing, every race shall be. Although he came in P2, but he really enjoyed the race, and for hell, we also did enjoy the race for sure. So really exciting battle between Max and Charles. I'm pretty sure that this is the battle to watch out for in the championship. So yeah, Max Verstappen ended up winning the race, his 21st race win in F1 and his 15th different circuit win. So a really interesting start for Max Verstappen, and it's going to be a really close battle for the championship for sure. Moving on, we'll have a look at Carlos Sainz's race. He qualified in P3, which is really good for sure. Ideally, he was aiming for pole, but he qualified in P3, which is good. And he didn't have the ideal race start. He was not in the ideal race position during the race start, mainly because Charles Leclerc was trying to overtake Max Verstappen. Sorry, Charles Leclerc was trying to overtake Sergio Perez, and which kind of blocked Carlos Sainz, who was behind Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen gained an advantage, and he overtook Carlos Sainz right into turn 1. So he lost a position at the start of the race, but he ended up finishing on the podium mainly because he gained an advantage during the virtual safety car, and Sergio Perez lost 3 positions and ended up finishing P4. So overall, a decent race for Carlos Sainz. Gained positions. He gained a good number of points for Team Ferrari as well, and Ferrari are leading in the championship right now, in the Constructors' Championship right now. So overall, a good race weekend for Ferrari and Carlos Sainz. Moving on, we'll have a look at George Russell's race. He qualified P6, ended up in P5. A good race weekend for sure, yes, but I'm pretty sure he would be wanting to battle in the front with the likes of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. But yeah, he had some really good overtakes. His overtake on Esteban Ocon was really good. And I'm pretty sure once Mercedes get the right setup, he's the one to watch out for, guys. Please do watch out for George Russell in the upcoming races. Moving on into the review, we'll have a look at the guy who finished, the driver who finished P6, Esteban Ocon. A really exciting battle between both the Alpines we witnessed. Esteban Ocon was really all over Fernando Alonso during the start of the race, and literally the commentators were asking Otmar, the team principal of Alpine, like, what's happening between both of the drivers? Are you all letting them race? And he was like, yes, they are open to racing each other unless they don't let the driver behind them, that's Valtteri Bottas, to pass them. So a really interesting battle we witnessed. Ocon and Alonso battling against each other, fighting for P5, and Valtteri Bottas behind them, and Kevin Magnussen behind them joined in the battle as well. So a really exciting race weekend for Esteban Ocon. He finished P6, and good set of points for Alpine. Fernando Alonso DNF, so overall not an ideal race weekend for Fernando Alonso. But yeah, Alpine scored good set of points in the championship, in the race today. Other DNFs were Valtteri Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo as well. So they faced issues and they stopped their cars. Daniel Ricciardo stopped the car, I think, at the pit lane entry, which kind of was really unlucky for Lewis Hamilton, mainly because the 3 drivers who were yet to pit, which was Kevin Magnussen, Nico Hülkenberg and Lewis Hamilton, for a new set of tires. And as soon as Lewis Hamilton came right next to the pits, the pit lane entry was closed, mainly because the car was right outside the pit lane of Daniel Ricciardo. So he couldn't pit. Had he pitted, he would have possibly got an advantage, because Lewis Hamilton was already in P7 during that time and possibly would have gain an advantage and finished higher up the grid. So unlucky for Lewis Hamilton, but yeah, overall Mercedes really need to buckle up. They need to get the right setup for Lewis Hamilton and possibly get him in the mix of Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen and George Russell in the front of the races. Coming to the next section of the review is Team Haas. Kevin Magnussen had a really good race weekend, yes. Qualified in P10 and finished P9. Not the ideal position he would want to finish in, but yes, he scored a good number of points for Haas, and that's really important. Until unless they score points, it's good. And Mick Schumacher had a really big shunt in qualifying, and there was a 1 hour delay in qualifying, but yeah, really big shunt. We're super happy that he's safe. The FIA has done a really good job in terms of safety, and Haas want to focus mainly on Australian Grand Prix. So they've kind of Mick Schumacher didn't race in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but he's the fact that he's safe is really good, and looking forward to seeing him race in the Australian Grand Prix. Yes. So overall a good race weekend for Haas. Yes, he finished. Kevin Magnussen finished ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Yep. Other than that, McLaren are already facing quite a lot of issues. But yeah, Esteban Ocon overtook Lando Norris in the penultimate lap for P6. So Lando Norris finished in P7. But yeah, the qualifying pace is not there yet. They need to get the right setup. Yes, McLaren need to finish in good positions. Yes, so it'll be good to see even Daniel Ricciardo facing an issue today. So not the ideal race weekend for McLaren, but yeah, good points for Lando Norris. And moving on to Aston Martin, Lance Stroll crashed into Alex Albon towards the end of the race, a race weekend that we want to forget, and want to focus mainly on Australian Grand Prix. Williams, not an ideal race weekend for them as well. So yeah, overall a good, a super exciting race, yes. To summarize the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix review, 3 words to describe the race will be eventful, dramatic and intense. I think the racing between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen was really intense. They were literally close and all over each other. So we hope to see some really exciting battles between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc in the 2022 F1 season, in the upcoming races as well. So really hope that happens. And yeah, we'll end the review here. Thanks a ton everyone for watching this video. I'm your host Naren Harwani. If you all did like this video, please do like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks everyone. Bye.